I would have to go back and check, but I feel like you probably have hit all of the definitional parts of like engaging in insurrection. But I mean, I've said it for J6, and I'll say it for this now.
Here's me debating Destiny a year ago, and him rage quitting. Then he blacklisted me afterwards. He was real concerned about debating the definition of insurrection. I said, sure, we'll do that. I don't give a shit about the term insurrection, though. I give a shit on the double standard of how it's applied. You can call everything an insurrection. Two hippies pushing a officer is an insurrection, he says. Okay. What I care about is the bullshit ways and how we apply it and how the feds apply it. When supposedly January 6th was an insurrection, it was the biggest story in the fucking world. We had the largest FBI task force in the history of the world. We charged peaceful people that were there with, instead of misdemeanors, we charged them and we're looking to throw them in jail 1 year, 2 year, 4 years. We tried to keep Trump off the ballot. The whole spiel, right? You know it. We all know. I said, fine, I'll do your stupid debate on the definition of insurrection. They're really big. I wonder why they were really big on that. I wonder why. Anyways, here we go. Here's how this debate ended.
So I just want to be clear. You know the intent of the members of the Colorado Supreme Court and why they chose to not take a specific definition. That's your argument.
I'm saying that the one that they've offered makes sense, so I'll take them at their word for it. The one that you're offering doesn't make sense. Yes, they did. What did they offer?
They specifically said they're not offering an all-encompassing definition.
I said the explanation for that. What was the explanation that they gave for that?
The explanation was that they thought that that this would have meant any definition of insurrection. And you're literally repeating. And again, so two things. One, you're just repeating what I said at the outset of it. And second, it gets to the broader point. As someone who's fucking researched this so heavily and talks about this case often as, oh, well, there was a case where they ruled this was insurrection. There was the New Mexico case and there was the Colorado case. You didn't even fucking read the court decision, man.
Rob, I literally told you like 20 times that they use a three-pronged thing for their decision of insurrection in this case. How many times did I do not?
So you did read it before? That's what you said.
A long time ago, yes. Or at the very least, an executive summary. But I'm pretty sure I read the case, yes.
So you read it before, but you were unaware that they specifically said we're not giving an actual definition of the term insurrection.
It's the way that you're phrasing this is not accurate. What did they say, Rob? Are you even capable of phrasing what they said?
Yes, I've done it like 5 times.
Phrase what they said. Phrase what they said.
Right. There is a lot of varying definitions of the term insurrection, but we're not going to settle on one actual definition of insurrection because we think that whatever definition of insurrection we would use, January 6th meets it.
There you go. Correct.
Well, no, you want me to say? Now, this is very indicative of the style of debate that you do. It's why you want to have debates on the...
Okay.
The big rage quitter.
Actually, no. We're just gonna say, Jesus fucking Christ.
Look at him. He looks like he's having fun there, right? Oh, snap. His audience is pleased, though.
I don't know if we could dive into, it's not worth it.
Oh boy, big man. He did it. Now, why did he want to talk about insurrection so much? Why did he? Now, why am I bringing up Destiny? Because it's fucking 1:30 a.m. and you got to talk about something. But he was the person with the biggest audience and influence that I had access to on the left, right? He keeps wanting to talk about the definition of insurrection and shit. And the reason was for two things. One, they wanted the legal processes to use that word so they could use tools that they otherwise wouldn't be able to. So you can kick Trump off the ballot. You can't kick Trump off the ballot if it was a riot, but if it was an insurrection, you can. They wanted to fucking like go after, insurrection, you could use, it's more serious, legal, blah, blah, blah. But the other thing was, remember what was going on up until that point. I was debating all these fucks over and over again during the Summer of Love. Hey, we're on Summer of Love 2.0. Isn't it nostalgic? I was debating these fucks over and over. And it was like, you do know if the left gets away with these riots over and over again, eventually the right will riot. You get that, right? You understand that? Yes? You understand that? And when the right riots, you people are going to lose your ever-loving minds, right? No, mostly peaceful, blah, blah, blah. Violence is the language of the unheard, blah, 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 blah. So then going into the Biden administration, they needed to differentiate. When the right does 1 day of violence, somehow that's worse than the hundreds of incidences over an entire summer of violence that we've seen from the left. So how could you make it different? It's an insurrection. That's how it's different. And I'm like, it wasn't like a serious attempt to overthrow the government. No, that doesn't matter. It just meets this definition of insurrection that basically everything meets. 2 or more people for a public purpose that's an assemblage that's using violence or intimidation to challenge a law. Yeah, if 2 hippies shoved a police officer over marijuana laws, that would also be an insurrection. And they knew that optically, that was the way they were going to, insurrectionist, Trump's an insurrectionist. They used that term so many times that was their key strategy going into the 2024 election. You can't vote for the insurrectionist. Now, of course, they would say in the middle of a 5-hour debate, like, there's a lot of insurrections, and not all of them are always bad, But that was the point. Use the term insurrection and say, oh, we're just saying, well, just technically, insurrection. Yes, almost anything's an insurrection. They say that here, and then they go over here with this conversation, say, insurrection, oh my God, insurrection, oh my God, insurrection. Then when you point out, like, but wait a minute, everything's, oh yeah, we're just using the term technically. We don't really mean that insurrection means that it could be good or bad. Insurrection could mean anything. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be serious, it could be non-serious, insurrection. It's not a very important, oh my God, an insurrection. So now we have, how many insurrections do we have tonight? Let's see, Denver looked like one, and Seattle, and Long Beach, and LA. Am I missing any of the insurrections? Mr. Destiny, care to respond?
What's the line to you between inconveniencing ICE and insurrection, like you said earlier? I think that if you are inconveniencing ICE in LA, I would have to go back and check, but I feel like you probably have hit all of the definitional parts of like engaging in insurrection. But I mean, I've said it for J6, and I'll say it for this now. Like insurrection definitionally can't be a bad thing. The country was birthed in insurrection and rebellion, right? The question is whether or not the insurrection you feel is justified. For J6, I said if the election actually had been stolen, I mean, it makes sense why people would insurrect. I mean, if there was ever a reason to insurrect, it would be because somebody's stealing the fucking election. I mean, I get that. And I would say here, like, if you feel like the president is, breaching his authority as president to engage in some act that you think is unconstitutional or illegal, I mean, then you insurrect. You rise up against the federal government, and I'm pretty sure, again, I think it meets all of the, definitions, right? You've got a group of, I don't remember. I'd have to go back and reread. But it's like you're trying to circumvent like a federal.
You don't remember? It was he was writing a manifesto.
Law, using a group of people, like you're intimidating or violent or whatever, right?
He doesn't remember. It was the most important term in the world. He was writing a manifesto on it. I don't remember. Yeah, I think this is an insurrection, though. Wow, cool. Insurrections? Whoa. It's an insurrection. Neat. Wow. You did it, Destiny. So, hey. One insurrection with January 6th from right-wingers, 5 tonight, just tonight, and then there was the insurrection last night, and the one the night before, and the one the night before, and the one the night before. Well, it's starting to look like Democrats are the party of insurrection.